Obviously, it was a packed house. It was kind of neat to be in front of 8,900 fans. It was great for softball. When we agreed to this, it was something that we wanted to do. Definitely put a tough environment. I thought team came out and we started off obviously pretty well, but we gave the Sooners some extra chances there, and they capitalized like great teams do. I was proud of my team. I thought they fought hard right through to the end. Estelle Check she didn't really deserve what happened to her. I thought she pitched a little better than that, but again, we talk about Oklahoma being such a great team and capitalizing on mistakes, and they do that really well, and that's what great teams do. Oklahoma is definitely a program that we would all love to be, not only with the quality of players they have coming, the coaching, but also their ability to draw fans and also to create the money to get a new stadium. Obviously, their NIL program, it sounds very good and very, very interesting on what they're able to do, and we just hope that's a stepping stone. They're leading the way in the way of our coaches' salaries, and what they're doing with the stadium. That certainly sounds very exciting there. There's a lot of things that we hope a rising tide lifts all boats, and it brings up the level of softball for everybody. They are the team to beat. There's no doubt about that. They're setting the standard for the rest of us to catch up, and it's tough. It's tough getting out there and getting your butts kicked day in and day out by them, and having to go through that. But it is what it is. Either you do something about it, you get better, or you don't. And we intend to try to get better.
Mike, you mentioned the decision to come and play this single game here. I mean, when you guys come here for the series or for the Big 12 tournament, it's a little more of you can get some more of your fans here and that sort of stuff. You knew this was going to be a very OU crowd tonight. Why did you feel like this was a good thing for your team to get a chance to do?
Well, sometimes you have to look at that holistically. Like what's good for the game, the sport, the softball, and not only, we have a very young team. If you notice that, we only have maybe one or two people that may leave the program next year. And so to expose them to an environment like being out there, which, our team last year, we went to Washington and Arkansas, and that was very hostile. Not hostile, you know what I mean, right? Weren't friendly environments, tough to play in front of. And so, having that happen tonight, I mean, it's tough. It's tough right now, but what do we learn from it? And how do we get better? There's some things that we could have done, and I just hope they would watch Oklahoma play and try to be more like them in the way they play. They just don't make mistakes. If they do, they don't let it hurt them. So, it's hats off to them.
Mentally preparing for this environment, is it similar, different than when you kind of have to attack that headed to the World Series, like from last year? I know a lot of new faces, but just kind of mentally preparing that for one game, then going back to a more typical road environment.
I don't think it's going to hurt too much. I mean, make a big difference. I make a big deal out of that. Obviously, we're staying in Norman, so we just take the bus down. It's not that far. It's not like we have to pack up now and go travel. That would be a little more difficult, especially in the 11 o'clock game tomorrow. I feel like it seems like our football team always gets the 11 o'clock game, so I don't know if it's a payback from the SEC and ESPN or whatever it is, but 11 o'clock games are not a lot of fun. I don't understand why that's 11 o'clock, but anyhow, out of my control.
Mike, the third inning, that the review that went against you all there, just how big was that at that point?
I'm trying to remember the play specifically.
The interference with Mia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't watching it. I did see the play at second base, but it was very confusing because Mia thought she was called out, so she left the field of play, and so there was nothing called at that time. So I think if it was egregious, he would have called it there, but obviously he didn't see that either. But then he said Mia was out when really they never made a play on Mia. They didn't tag the bag or they didn't tag Mia. So really Mia should not have been called out. But he was just a mess, But yeah, it is. I mean, it's a big play. You're trying to build momentum and it gets taken out and we lose not one runner but two runners. And I haven't seen the play, so I don't know whether it is. We certainly don't teach our players to go in dangerously or try to hurt anybody. That's not the way I coach or any of our coaches coach or want my players to do. But Like I said, I didn't see it. We'll look at it. If that's the case, then we'll have to talk to Mia about that.
Coach, you made some comments the other day, seemingly to insinuate some improper methods. I was wondering if you'd like the opportunity to expound on what you meant.
Well, that was a 15 to 20 minute interview, and I praised Oklahoma. I said that part of Oklahoma is they're underrated they're underappreciated in their defense. I think their defense is really awesome. I mean, they hardly make mistakes defensively, and then, of course, the pitching and hitting and everything else. And then at the end of kind of the interview that was dying down, the guy said something about just reloading. I said, yeah, they're definitely reloading, but I'm not going to get into that. And so now it gets blown up like I'm calling her Coach Gasso a cheater, which is nothing of the sort, which, that was my own video, my own media guy doing that. I mean, what the heck are you doing, So I don't think it was very fair, but, I've got to live with it. And if Coach Gasso thinks I call her a cheater, I apologize. I did not. I did not call her a cheater. All right? Was there anything you guys said in the interview, right? Did I call her a cheater? No. I mean, insinuated, maybe, whatever, but I certainly did not. And I said, I just don't want to talk about that. There's a lot of things that go into that and recruiting part of it. Like I said, NIL is a huge part of this game right now. We're behind. Oklahoma's lucky enough to have quite a large fund available for, I understand, and I don't know if it's true or not, just what you hear, for gymnastics, softball, and football. 3 sports. At Texas, we have 22 sports. We just can't compete with that. We're trying to spread over everything. So it's a case of the have and the have-nots. So we all hope that, again, that with Oklahoma setting the standard, that it pushes our fans to create that kind of base so that we can allow that to happen. Now, we've had, one or two. We had one player last year make 6 figures NIL. Not through the school, but through her own social media. And she built that business. I mean, I think that's great, but anyhow. So, yeah, I mean, it was taken out of context for sure.
Did you get a chance to talk to Patty about that at any point? And also, did you expect, obviously anytime a Texas coach comes in Oklahoma, you know sort of what the deal is in some way.
Yeah.
You expect some of the reactions that
Oh, what's disheartening is when you see some young girls that are calling you names and doing things, and their parents are standing by watching that. To me, that's just not good parenting. You'd think you would do a little bit better there. But the overall, it's like anything else. 95% of people are great. It's the 5% that just need to make things difficult. And like I said, I live with it. It is what it is. I guess I'm not the most well-liked person out there, but. It's not by design. I think that my teammates and the people I play and the people that know me in the game respect me a lot. That matters a little more to me than what your peers think of you. The fans, you just got to live with that. They paid your ticket, and you got to live with whatever they say.
And did you get a chance to talk to Patty?
No, I didn't. I think she's upset. So, but again, I didn't say anything. So, but anyhow, maybe tomorrow.
How badly do you guys want to beat Oklahoma? You got 2 more chances after, tonight's game.
Well, it's not necessarily badly want to beat Oklahoma. We want to play well. We want to, we like I said, we keep shooting ourselves in the foot against a good team. And it doesn't matter if it's Oklahoma or it's UCLA or it's anybody else in the postseason. They just can't do that. And so you want to be in these pressure situations and be able to play well. And, Oklahoma has a lot to do with that. They have a lot of weapons, a lot of things at disposal they can do, and so it's hard to guard against everything. But it's not necessarily wanting to badly to beat Oklahoma. It's wanting to compete and get our team to be better, especially at this time of year. There's a lot of softball to be played.
Coach, it doesn't feel like until this weekend, perhaps, that, I guess from my perspective, that many of the coaches and players haven't embraced this rivalry like a lot of other sports, Oklahoma and Texas are. But it felt like it was a little different this week. Was that maybe because of you guys facing each other in the conference, in the national championship last year? Can you expound on the rivalry between you guys? I mean, obviously it's OU Texas.
Well, yeah, OU Texas is obviously a rivalry in football and everything else. But I think I said this last year. I said you're not relevant until you start beating someone. Then you start calling it a rivalry. I think we're well down on the loss win column, So I don't necessarily call it a rivalry until you start, trading punches there. A little bit. You start trading wins and losses. So really, we're on catch-up mode. So I don't look at it as a rivalry. I just want us to be able to learn from them to better our program so we become better.